Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. This is what it looks like with the breast all finished from the last video. I textured everything all the way down through to the top where we had that dividing line where we burnt this way, and then we raised the feathers all the way down to the rump down here. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to set the eyes, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you hang in there, we'll show you how to do that as well. I'm going to bring the camera down so that you can see how we do that, and we will get the eyes in. So bear with me. I'll be right with you. Okay. I'm going to use, not all glass eyes come with wire anymore, but I'm going to show you with this one how I go about doing this, and I'm going to show you how to drill the eyes out so that you can make this fit. The eye is usually a little bit smaller, or I should say the hole is, and we got to expand that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a ruby ball, which is about 8 millimeters in diameter, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to hollow out. I'm going to stick it into the hole, which is about 8 millimeters, and we're going to expand it a little bit more, maybe 1 millimeter more. So what I want you to do is watch me here. I'm going to come in. I'm going to turn on my machine. Like I said, this is a ruby ball, but if you have a diamond one, you can probably use that too. I'm going to come in here into the hole, and then I'm going to go downward because I've done this one already. I want to show you over on this one. I'm going to come around and try to keep it rounded inside. I'm keeping the ball basically halfway in the hole so that it's cutting all the sides as we're going, but I'm leaning more towards the downside here. Now, you don't want to take too much out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this glass eye, and I don't know if you can see it. It's not going in all of the way in. The back side of it should be almost flush with the surface here. So it hasn't gone in all the way. So I'm going to go in again and just undercut. Now, I'm going to try that again. And the back side of this eye, now for the ones that don't have wire, it's just on the back side of the glass here is what I want to be just about flush with this one. Let's see if I have it right on that one. Yeah. So, excuse me. We're just about there. I'm going to go in a little bit more. And I'm not taking much out, let me tell you. I'm using a very gentle touch to this. And that looks like about it. It's just about in the hole, and this back surface on the eye is flush with this point right in here, right on that side of the eye right here, okay? Now that we did that, the problem is when we go to put the eye in, we have a lot of bare wood showing now. So what we're gonna have to do is get our wood burner, and in the direction that these lines were going, I'm gonna burn inward. on here. I'm going right into the hole in the same direction the line work was coming in the beginning, up to the center of the eye, you know. I'm burning that just inside so that when we go to put the glass eye in, it is going to be looking like this whole eye floats right into the glass, and there's no bare wood showing. And I'm trying to navigate all the angles that are coming in. This is coming in this way, so I'm coming in that way. I'm trying to get my burning pen into the hole. I don't know how well you're seeing all that, but I'm trying to get it in, and then up in here, remember we pivoted around on the burn, so I'm going to come in here, and I'm trying to follow the burn lines that were existing there. Now on the top, we're just going to come out to the top of that. In the same way on the side here, we're coming in this angle, and then it pivots. So I'm burning right on in as if the lines continue straight in. Hope I didn't go out of view here. And I'm trying to get that eye right back and burnt right into the where it's covered. Now I'm going to show you this in a minute here. So all of this is getting textured right in to the eye. It doesn't have to go right to the middle. It's just so that when we stick the eye in the correct way and not backwards, we do it backwards so we know we have the right depth that it should be sitting in. And like I said, this back side here of the glass eye should be flush right with this edge here, not that side, but this side, so that when you fit it in, it should be just below that, or right there, okay? Now, we've got that pretty well burnt. Now, what I'm going to do is, this is a plain glass eye. We paint the back of it yellow, and it looks like this. Okay, so I am going to snip the wires off of this, and then I'll show you from there how we go, okay? So bear with me. Okay, I'm going to cut the wire off on the back end of these glass eyes here. These are the yellow ones, which were painted. Now, I'm also going to get some quick wood here, which is what I use when you take too much wood out sometime. You can utilize quick wood, and that's this stuff here. But I also use it for the eyes. So I'm going to cut just a small portion off. And what it is, it's a two-part epoxy. And when you knead it together, excuse me, it starts setting up. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to knead all this so I can get this to one color. And I'm going to use a little water. Not that you need it, but I find it having your fingers wet a little bit helps as far as getting this softened up. It's soft to start, but I'm going to need this. So, and you see, it starts out as two different colors. You have one epoxy in one color and one on another. And when you need it, it gets this off like tan or something like that. Now, I'm going to get a portion of this. Maybe that's a little bit much. Maybe about 1/4 of an inch round. I think even that may be a lot, but what I'm going to show you, yeah, that may even be a little bit too much. I'll get it down even smaller. What I want to do is drop that into the hole. Then I'm going to get one of the yellow glass eyes, and I'm going to stick it right in the center there. Sure I am. Let me push that in. Yep. Jumped that on me. I'm going to push that in a little bit. Then I'm going to get this and push this right down in the middle. Now, what I'm going to get is a pencil with an eraser. Let's see if I have one here. Yep. And I'm going to get this and push that in. Now, what I want to do is, remember, I want you to try to, well, to start out with, we want to get these eyes so that they're looking straight back. And I'm trying to do that. And I'm going to come in here and tilt that a little bit. So it looks like it's coming right on us. So I'm pushing that in. And it should be flush, the back end of it, flush with the edge here. So I'm just massaging this a little bit more. And I'm using the eraser part, not to scratch up the eye. Now, I'm going to get one of my pencils that has a decent point on it, and I'm going to do this. I'm just going to go around where it may have oozed out and grab some of that and come around like that. Now I'll save that little bit. Now, let me just get tissue here to clean some of that out. I have some of that putty right on the eye itself. Let's see if I have it. Yep. Really losing erasers here. Let me come back to the one I had. Yep. And I'm going to try to get that point in there just to take some of the excess out all the way around. So it looks like it's got a little bit of a membrane, but the eye wants to come straight on. Okay. Now, here's where the process comes in here. We have to build like a lid on the eye. And I'm going to get it to be like a, I'm going to take some of this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this on the top here. And I'm going to push that in like so. Okay. Now, I'm going to just use a knife. This happens to be an X-Acto knife. Wet it a little bit so it doesn't stick too much onto here. I'm going to come in and take some of the excess off of here because I don't want it to fill any of the voids that we have as far as burning goes. So I'm going to take the excess out. Here we go. Save that. And then I'm going to try to create like a brow. And at the same time, I don't want a lot of material hanging onto the eye neither. So bear with me on here. Now, what I'm going to do is get a brush, and I'm going to wet the brush, and I'm going to push. Well, that ain't going to do it. So let me do it with the pencil. I need a stiffer brush than that. I'm going to push that down some more. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the back of my brush rather than the brush itself. Like so. I'll get the point to give me a little shape. And then I want it to flare out this way. And I just want to cover, I want to get the pupil out so it's the black pupil exposed. Now I'm going to come in. I'm going to trim some more of this off. And I'm going to pat that back. And now press this down so it is sticking. Now you can see what I'm trying to do is going from this corner, rising up and coming around and flowing out towards the tufts. And I don't want a lot of material in here. So pretty much want to just get like a little, like a worm, you know, a real thin one. And then after you get that done, now here's what I want to do. I want to get this point of the knife, and I'm going to come in on the edges here and just texture out. Hope I'm in range here, because this would be a waste of time if it isn't. And feather that out. And what I'm doing here is trying to get this to blend so it's part, looks like it's part of the, I see a little putty that got away there. Got that out of there. And now I'm going to get the brush, wet my brush a little bit. I think I need a stiffer brush than the one I have here right now. The one I'm using doesn't have any body to it at all. So I'm going to use something like this that has more of a bounce to it. So I'm going to get this. I'm going to come in. I'm going to push the putty just, I mean the brush just underneath the brow, and then smooth this out. Now I'm going to come back again. I'm going to wet the tip of the knife. Get it in there just to give me some texture. Not a whole lot. And I am following the markings that we had before in that direction. So it gives us a nice brow look over the eye. Now, I think it's raised just enough. Now, before this thing sets again, and the quick wood, if you're going to do both eyes and you're not quick enough, I would mix less than what I have here, because it tends to set up in about 15 minutes. So that's something you have to watch, and I'm pretty good at this. Famous last words. And I could use a little bit more in there. So I'm going to do the other eye, and I'm pushing that in right into the hole with my finger. And I get the other eye, and I'm trying to go right to what would look like the middle of that hole. And then I'm going to push this in with my eraser. Now you'll see that it's oozing out all over. At least I hope you can see it. And it is on the back end. I just want to make sure that the eye is straight on. Okay, you don't want the eye to tilt one way or another. Okay, now I'm going to come in, just coming around, and I don't want this putty all over the place now. So the thing I should really be using is a sharper pointed pencil. There you go. And if you have another device like a pick or something like that, that would be helpful if you have it. But a sharp pencil usually does it for me. Now, the eye is, let me just check everything out here. It looks pretty good. Now, if you get putty that seems like it's fighting you and it's still not coming out, you know, where you want it or something like that, you can always come in with the knife and just rake it a little bit. But don't let it linger in the voids of the burn, okay? So let me go, and I'm going to get some of this. Now I can feel this starting to stiff up, so I'm going to wet this just a little bit. Not that that's going to make it more pliable, but I'm kneading it. And that's one thing I want to try to do, is soften it up again. It will set up in about 15 minutes. So I probably have enough for a couple eyes. That's how much I made. So you want to do it sparingly, I guess. And let me try this. I'm going to get this over here. I'll plug that in there and here. And if the stuff sets up on you too fast, I would suggest starting a new batch too, because sometimes it becomes more of a hassle than anything else. Okay, now I'm going to come in with the knife again and trim this down. So we're coming out of, well, this should be down a little bit further. So I'll pull that down that way. And then I'm going to cut this off right here. Hope you can see this. This will be like excess. Okay. We'll pull that out. And you don't want to leave any of it lingering in around there because it will set up and it'll end up being part of your eye. So I'm getting that in. Then I'm gonna press down over here. So I want that a little lower, like the other one. I'm trying to make this exactly the same as the other one. And at the same time, this wants to set up pretty fast. And so I'm going to show you some of the problems you can have if you don't use fresh stuff. And Quickwood is only set up, it will harden in a short period of time. And 15 minutes is what it's supposed to be, but you can actually work it a little bit longer than that. So let me get this down into here. And I'm going to start thinning this out on the outside here again. I'm going to texture it this way. And then I'm going to get that stiffer brush. I'm going to push that in under here. Clean this up if it has any of the epoxy still floating around out there that I didn't get out of the way. And I could see a little bit back in here that I didn't get, and I'll push that back. Now, I will come in, start texturing this way. I'm going to get the point, sort of drag it around here. And I feel some resistance to the putty because it's starting to harden. And I'm going to try to show you when I get done here what that ball looks like once it really sets up. Hope I'm in the camera range. I'm coming back. Let me push that in. Let me use my finger or what? Push that in again, just to make sure. I'm going to get that down a little bit more. A little more over the brow. Then I'll do it again. So I'm getting a knife. Right into that corner. Giving it some texture. on the ends. Okay. And I'm going to push that down a little more. I'm trying to make both eyes look, the brow look the same. So if need be, I'll push that down a little bit more until I get what to me looks like similar brows. Okay. And then we'll come back again. Of course, I just probably got my fingers all over the putty. And that took a lot of detail out of there. Okay, we're getting close, but I can still see I didn't get enough texture in here. So trying to get this to look like it's part of the wood rather than it just some putty on top. Okay. I'm going to come in some more. Now, I'm going to drag it a little more. Yeah, I think this is starting to set up. If it really gets bad and it's not working for you, I would just take it off and start with another batch. Not what's holding the eye in place, but this brow that you're trying to form. And then I'll get the brush, wet it, and then I'm going to clean that up. Get that out. Then I'm going to come in here. And this gives it a more fierce look, which is what the owl actually has. I'm trying to get this brush to come up under there just a little bit. So I think that should do it. Now, I hope you got all of that in the works here. And you don't want any remnants of the quick-wood hanging out all over the place, okay? If worst comes to worst and it doesn't give you all the detail, what I can do, and I'll show you another trick, and this is sort of after the fact, I'm going to turn on my wood burner, believe it or not, and I'm going to back it off to about a 4, which is really low temperature. And if I don't want to burn the wood, I just want to melt some of the quick wood to get a little more texture. So let me see how I do here. Maybe a little higher. Maybe to a 5. We'll see where that goes. Yeah, I'm getting some texture. And all I'm trying to do is just get some veining in the top here, coming down. See how that looks. A little bit more. So you can do this with a wood burner if it starts to set up a little bit. And then you're going to have to clean that up. Okay, so Here we go again with the brush. And then I'm going to clean that out. And I think that did it. Okay. It puts like a feathery edge, and that's what I'm trying to look at. And you don't want a lot of wood, quick wood in with your burn, okay, around here. You want to minimize that because it fills it up and it'll become part of the face, and you don't want that. So there we are as far as setting the eyes go. The quick wood itself, even this right now, if I drop that on the table here, it sets up real fast. And even this little piece that I didn't use is really getting brittle. So a lot of times what I try to do, this is like a lot of waste. So if you could do like about a 1/4 inch ball at a time, do one eye and then do the other with fresh stuff, you'll have a better chance of getting the effects from the quick wood, so it's more manual you can really do what you want on it. If not, then you have to go in with other devices, and the knife isn't always cutting through there because it's starting to set up. So if it doesn't look exactly the way I want it, I will turn up the heat on the burning pen and get that feathery edge that I was looking for. But there it is as far as setting the eyes in here. And the depth of it, like I said, on the back end here is flush with the wood here on this side. Same way on this side. It's just slightly in, and it's right there. And you want to make sure that the eyes are coming straight out at you and not tilted this way or that way. So hope you got something out of this one. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and we are now almost where we're going to do a little finishing on the beak on the next one and a little bit down here, and then we're going to show you excuse me how to clean this thing up, because then we're going to have to seal it and prime it, and I'll show you how to do that on excuse me, on the next video. And we're going to be marching on. We'll start to be painting pretty soon. So, excuse me, got something in my throat. So, hope you got something out of it. And if you did, I would ask you to give me a thumbs up. And if you have anybody that's interested, maybe wanting to try this, I would appreciate you passing on my information about my channel, and then that would greatly help me out. And if you need any of this stuff, I don't handle the quick wood anymore, but if you need to get it, I'm pretty sure that Amazon has it, and it's called quick wood, and it's exactly that, and that's what I use. Okay, and it's a excellent for two things, like doing the brow here or setting the eyes when you're doing that, especially on smaller birds. It's real easy. If you check some other videos out on when I set the eyes, it's a snap. With the owl, you're trying to put a brow behind it to make them look a little more meaner, and that's what this is all about here. So and we build that up because it's almost impossible to get the eye in and get that brow in on top of it. So you have to build it up, and it will just act like it's part of the owl when we get going here. So if you need any of this quick wood, I believe Amazon handles that, and I don't know if like a Home Depot may have it. I'm not sure, but I know Amazon does. And so I hope you enjoyed it. And if you need any products or kits or patterns of a lot of birds I do and everything else. I have a catalog, and if you write to me or make comments in an email to me through my video, or my email address is Rauscher, Rauscher, Frank